Hello and welcome to another video of us coding in code.org. I'm going to do another set of lessons for my students, both in Principles of Engineering and Digital Media. They're working on two separate sections, one with Intro to just General Programming and one with Designing an App Lab Programming. I'm going to make sure that everything is where I need it to be. Yep. And we're just going to jump right into it. So we're going to start with Principles of Engineering first. Once again, I hope everyone's safe and, staying at home and abiding by those heavily suggested suggestions that we've been getting recently until all this stuff clears up. So, like I said before, we're going to kind of skip the videos for the sake of time, but I'll read generally what we are going to do today. Students learn to define and call their own procedures or functions in order to create or give a name to a group of commands that easily and repeat using their code. Named procedures are a form of abstraction that enable the programmer to reduce complexity by removing details and generalizing functionality. So we're using this to simplify our code. If you watched the previous videos, there were some things where we turn left, we turn right, we turn left, and a lot of it could have been repeated a lot. I used a lot of Control V to paste the same lines of code again and again. But with functions, it allows us to simplify that whole process. So we're going to get abstractions are a simplified representation, and function is the name of the group that you would call that simplified group or subset of commands put together. So we have the function body, which we've seen in the previous lesson, but we didn't actually look at it. It was part of the onEvent handle. So we normally would start with the video, but again, I decided that it's just probably easier to let the kids watch the video on their own. So you can pause the video and you can watch it. And then we're going to keep going from there. I'll give you a second. All right. So then we're going to go to... We're going to start right into it. Let's get into it. Sorry. We're going to define a function called turnaround. It's going to allow the turtle to turn around in place. And once you define the function, call it to make sure it works as you expect. So here, we're going to call it turnaround. So we have the function, so we first need to define our function. So we can call it with this one. So this is the call my function button. You see that it highlights the words call my function. Here's where we would define them. Excuse me, that came out of nowhere. Alright, so we're going to do this. I never actually put comments on stuff, although it doesn't really matter. Since I'm elaborating vocally, I don't actually have to comment the program, but it's good practice for you guys to get in the habit of commenting. So we're going to call the function, and they wanted us to call it turn around. Remember that the A in the middle is because we're following camel case functionality. So we can clearly identify where our splits are in terms of wording. So lowercase turn, capital A around. And I really don't know if my mic is low. I don't think it is. But we will adjust that if need be. I think it should be fine. Let me know if there's any issue, and I will adjust that. Alright, so we call it turnaround, but we actually have to give it the commands in the middle. To fully do a turnaround, based off what they have here, they want us to turn it around to the left twice. So we're going to throw in 2 turn lefts. Alright. So now the turnaround is defined, but it's not called in the function. So this is where we call. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Let me 1 second. Excuse me. Grab my thing. One second. All right, and we're back. Random sneeze attack, disrupting the video. So we call this one turnaround. If I'm typing in the right spot, there we go. So you want to actually call it after you've defined it. Now, do note that if you do not type it exactly as it is in the actual calling of the function, it's going to treat these as two separate things. This one has a capital T and this one doesn't. So they don't necessarily agree with each other. So I'm going to make this agree and make sure that this is a lowercase t. So now you see that my suggested error things are gone. Get out of here, debug. I don't need you just yet. So now, should run, turn around. So as you can see, it's immediately going to do the actions I wanted to do. And it runs through it, and you can actually see it hit the drop down. Now, we could throw in the move forward. Excuse me, I don't know where the sniffle came from. I was fine up until this recording started. Move forward, we could throw it in there and make it more pronounced, but we don't really need to, but let's do it anyway. So now when I reset, it'll run everything in that command. Go forward, turn, and back. Now, we can talk about pin up and pin down. Remember, we can change the speeds so that it'll do it a little faster. And there. So now we've defined that function. Finish. On to the next. So we're gonna get more elaborate as we go with these functions, just to make them make sense for us. Do this. Get some more practice calling the function turnaround along with your old friend move forward to create the plus sign. And the turtle should end where it started. So we only need turnaround for the lefts. So my function is when we're going to do turnaround. Now, and I might do a little shortcutting here. Maybe, we'll see. So we're going to turn around. Turn around, everything agrees, but first we still got to put those move forwards in because the rest of the program has to behave like normal. So outside of my function is where we're going to actually run everything. So the true start of your function starts right here at the move forward part. Technically, you can put all your functions down at the bottom and have your program run from the top. It'll still read it the same way. So let's do move forward. I'm gonna crank the speed up a little bit. I wanted to move forward, then turn around, move forward. Let's see what that gets me. All right, so now I'm back to that spot. I could turn left, and then add lines of code and call the function above the definition. There's another trick to this where you can actually put a function inside of a function. Reset, run. And then we could call the function again. So I would call the function again, except instead of typing turnaround a bunch of times, I'm gonna go to text mode. And since I know it's gonna be there, I'm gonna copy this, make my life a lot easier. And I'm gonna show my blocks again to make sure it's all good. Cool. I'm gonna be doing that a lot. So we're gonna run, turn around, to left. I didn't go forward that time. So after that turn left, we need to go forward so it actually does that particular line of the plus sign. Right. Alright, so we're gonna... Oh, they don't have the loop counter, so I can't do that anyway. Keep working. I hit the wrong button. Run. top. And so we would do it again. Remember, I always want to do the move forward here. All right. So it's move forward, turn around, move forward, turn left. So if I go to show text, because I like to, make my life easier. Move forward, turn around, move forward, turn left. Copy. So really, I'm going to take these two out, and I'm going to just copy the block again and again. Essentially, we can make a function with this section. And I kind of jumped ahead, so let me go back and explain what I did a little bit better. Let me move them so that they're on their own line. Move forward, move forward. All right, there we go. Show blocks. And now we reset and run. Because I needed to do it at least one more time, huh? So we're almost there. What we need to do, I'm going to take that same code, do it one more time, put it back in blocks, and reset. And run. All right. And it puts us back in our original position, which was key, right? We turned left all the way around here. And again, they wanted to make sure that we ended up in the original spot. So congratulations, we move on. We move on to the next puzzle. Let's do that. All right, so it says, as you know, in order to turn right, we had to call turn left 3 times. We started you out with the stub that defines a function called right. Start by adding code inside. So we call the function right, and we throw 3 turn lefts inside. Because that gives us a right turn. I'm going to call the function right. Now, if you have a single named function, you don't need to camel case because it's all there together. I feel like my face is completely on my mic, on my camera today, but that's fine. I'm making sure my music isn't bleeding through because I have a little bit of music in the background. Still hadn't decided on how y'all feel about whether or not I should put background music on this, but we're just gonna roll with it. So we're gonna run. Oh, I forgot to put the speed up. Mr. Clark, we don't want to sit here and on turtle programming. Turtle speed. Run. How fast did you go? Oh my god, you went so fast. That's why it didn't even go right. Alright, there we go. That's more of our speed. So we made it so that it can go right. Then use the function some code to draw a rectangle. So now we can use this code to fully make out that rectangle. So let's do this. If we go forward, they want us to go right, and then let's go right, and then let's go forward. Alright, so we're going to start from here. Forward twice. Let's see how it looks. Forward twice, to the right, and then forward once. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I'm going too fast for myself. Move forward, turn right. We need another move forward at the bottom. And then we turn right again. Yep. Again, I could copy the thing, but this one's so small that I might as well just type it in. Run, reset. Run. Bop, bop. So we know we're on a good pace when we can do stuff like this. And now, because again, programmers are inherently lazy, We're going to reuse code whenever we see possible. So hopefully I'll be able to recopy this, Control V, put my blocks back, and let's see how this looks. I might have goofed somewhere, but we can fix it. Uh-oh, nope, I'm good. And there we go. So we end up getting back into our, so I paired this section and then this section. I treated them as two separate halves of the program so it'll finish the same way. And we're going to finish. Congratulations. We're just churning through these. So then you talk about managing your complexity and making sure that all of your embeds are there. So we have, for this example, they have rights, and then to move forward what we did for the rectangle, everything is put in as draw rectangle, and then you call the function rectangle inside of there. Or you call the function right inside of the rectangle function. So when you call draw rectangle, it draws the rectangle. Just keeping track of everything, and we're going to practice that some more. Alright, so they started us out. Code from the previous level. Take the code that draws the rectangle and move it into the function draw rectangle. Alright, so we don't actually have the function for draw rectangle. But now we're about to. I'm going to put it at the top. And I'm going to take everything outside of here and put it inside. So now we're going to cut. We can cut away at that. Then let me show blocks. My function. Oh, I should have changed the name of it. Whoops. We're going to do that. We're going to get it. So draw rectangle. Again, we use the camel case, and it has to agree at the bottom. So draw rectangle. No. Alright, so it now says we have no issues. I can show my blocks again. And now all of what I just did was in the function. And then my right function inside of there. So it's kind of like Inception. Put functions inside your functions so that you can function while you function. But alright. Had to get that one out. So right is inside of, the right function is inside of the draw rectangle function. But the actual running of the code is simply draw rectangle down here at the bottom. So let's run and see. Oh, it did it way too fast. Rabbit, slow down. Run. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to prove my earlier point. I'm going to reset. Now, typically, your functions can remain at the top, but if people are looking at your code and trying to assess where you're going, we tend to leave the functions at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put draw rectangle at the top, and we're going to see if it'll still run. And it does, which it should, because it's going to read the whole thing top down until it can actually start doing the commands it listed. So whether your function's at the bottom before your code starts. So really, we can throw in this part that I didn't actually say. Code ends. And this is not going to throw anything off by any means. So code ends here and the functions start below. Right? And again, it's just a matter of you keeping all of your information kind of in order and organized and things like that. So we're going to finish, continue. I'm making good time. We're doing all right. All right, so they gave us the right function. We want to be able to draw. Oh, they gave us a blank spot in here. So how do we draw the step so that we can do this? Over the next 3 levels, we're going to write a program that draws us a figure shown to the right. Same zigzag patterns. Break the program down in usable parts. Alright, make it face the same direction and start it. So if I draw the step, they're doing forward, left, forward, right. Okay, so we can do that. Move forward. Move forward. Turn left. And then move forward. And then we need to throw the right in there. So we throw the right in there, we get that. Then I actually need to call draw step, because draw step is defined, but we didn't actually put it in our function yet. I'm gonna put it at the top, that way we can keep it here. And again, I'm not normally, well actually I kinda am, but I'm gonna put that here. Code ends, just to keep us organized, right? Code ends and my functions are all below. Put the word draw step inside, we need to define it. This is the part where I would purposely put this all in lowercase and see if the kids will catch it. Mr. Clark, your functions aren't the same, so we need to fix that. So now draw step is there. So we run it, and it does that. Again, probably not as fast here. Alright, so finished. Alright, we're good right here. Alright, so we go to the next step, and where it's going to make us do this multiple times. So a new function named draw side, which makes 3 calls in a row to draw step, followed by move forward and a right. Alright, so we're going to call a new function. I'm going to put this at the top. Draw step needs to go inside 3 times. I'm going to go to my text. And again, I need to do it 3 times, right? So Control V and Control V. And then it said to bring in which ones? Move forward and a right. So move forward needs to go here. And then a right. Oh, I don't have a right, do I? I can just type it, or I can just drag it in. I'll just type it. Right. Type here. There we go. Right, and then do your parentheses, and then do your semicolon. Cool. Everyone agree with that? We call this draw side. Oh, let me take my blocks back. Alright, change the name here. Sorry, I prefer block programming, block coloring, coding, because again, I'm not necessarily a visual learner, but I like when stuff is visually organized to the point where I can see that easily. Sorry, just moving this out the way. Alright, we are going to now draw side is the name of this one. So draw side is there. Now remember, that is a function that I just made. So if that's a function I made, I need to put the code in here. So I'm gonna make a function at the top and call it draw side. Oh, Mr. Clark is not capitalizing its S. There it is. Oh, he needs to lowercase the D in the beginning. The song currently playing in my ear almost messed me up. Oh no, what button is that? There it is, haha. There we go. Music crisis avoided. Oh no, that's gonna go way too slow. Run. Boom, boom. All right, we're making that whole step to process. All right, so we got the side ready. Now finally ready to make our diamond. Find a function named drawDiamond that calls drawSide multiple times. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're embedding functions inside of functions to make this work. I'll put another function at the bottom. And we're gonna call this drawDiamond, which is our main comment. And then Mr. Clark said drawing diamond is not a word that he knows how to spell, but he fixed it. So remember, we also need to change this to drawDiamond because it's going to call everything in there anyway. Alright, so we're going to put drawSide inside of each of those. Oh, I meant to drag it in there, that's why. drawSide. Alright, cool. We're going to show text because I want to copy drawSide in there a couple times. What does it say, about 4 times? We'll see. Well, let's do 3 for a second. Alright, so this here, that make sure there are no issues, no yellow issues. Let's see what we got so far. We'll figure out the rest of this in a second. Alright, maybe not as. Speed up a little bit. Alright, our orientation is coming around quite nicely. Can we finish the diamond though? I feel like it looks the same. Does it? That's 3. Let's throw another one in there. There we go. Forgot the S. Alright, show blocks. We're gonna make this a little faster, rabbit. Reset, run. Boom, boom. Maybe a little faster. You can do this. Run. There we go. Alright, and we're back. So as you can see, we took the exhibit route and put functions in our functions inside of our functions. So I'll read it from the top up manner. So from the upside, we created the right function, and inside of and we put that right function inside of drawStep with some commands, and then we put drawStep inside of our drawSide function with some more commands to help us keep our orientation straight. And then inside of drawDiamond, we drew the drawSide command inside of that one. So it's a lot of functionception going on here. Again, if you keep yourself organized, this makes sense. And your code, the running code, is simply one line. And you see how all of these lines of codes that we could have put in normally are simply, if I show this whole thing, if I do it like this, I would have sat there and done it all in one line of programming. But this allows me to go see where I might have some issues. Is there an issue with my right function? Is there an issue with step? Is there an issue with side? Wow, I'm already at 30 minutes. I need to kick it up a notch. Finish. Oh, I think we're at the end. So these are just questions for them to answer, and I'm gonna go to the next. I'm gonna let them answer them on their own. Yeah, I will let. Actually, I'll do one of the multiple choice. Choose the two statements that are true about functions. Meaningful function names and functions in programming are naming groupings of program iterations. Just general things that what it means to what's true about functions and why we use them. We keep them. We name them so that people can understand it better. And hopefully, my explanation now, because I feel like I'm doing more rambling than normal, sounds as if I've been explaining it clearly. All right, so that is one lesson down. We're gonna go to Unit 2, where they talk about screen IDs and multi-screens. So we created a screen app in the last video, and they began making the clicker video, or clicker app from before. So now we're just gonna play around with this so that all the layerings and the depths make sense. So we want to clear this. There's a before and after. Change the depth of them, and then we're gonna move these around. Let's play bullseye. Oh, they didn't. They did that. How many of these? Do we even need 5 of these? I don't think we need 5 of these. All right, so we're gonna focus. I'm gonna skip the written directions. We're gonna go straight into this because I want to make this look like this. I'm gonna do my very best. It's not exactly. Let me see. Can I F11 this? No, I can't. What's the max green button? Cool. Alright, so that gives me a full screen to work with. I'm gonna do my best to change everything in the properties. So first off, the blue target. I'm on blue target. I'm looking in the properties tab. Remember, we kind of started out with this earlier. We changed the depth of blue target. I want it in the background. And actually, there's some things you can do in design mode where you can just grab and move them to where it makes sense. Now, right now, you have red hiding behind yellow, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna go to yellow, and I'm gonna change the depth in that one. Now, I'm not gonna push it all the way to the back with this button. I'm gonna push it to the next layer behind it. All right, so now they're in the right layer on top of each other, so we can just kind of frame them up the way they need to be. And I'm probably not exactly on it. Alright, so I'm gonna do, click the bullseye, goes down here. We don't need as many of these. It's only 2 of them. Whoa, I didn't mean to change that. Oh, I'm taking it off anyway, it's fine. Alright, I can just click and drag it and get it out the way. Bullseye pick 1, bullseye pick 2. So you guys are the ones I'm gonna keep. Throw you out. 4, you can go. Boom, and there we go. So we pull number 1 over here. We pull number 2 all the way over here. Alright, and then we push this guy up. Alright. I don't think I'm missing anything else other than me being nitpicky about what's in the corners and things like that. So now we've organized this just with properties and changing positionals. Maybe I can push this up a little bit more, just slightly. And I might have thrown it off there anyway. Run, finish. All right, so it looks like we wanted to look, so we're gonna move on. Excuse me. Add an on event from design mode. Design mode has a shortcut for you to add an on event to your code. A red button has already been added to the app. In design mode, click on the button to select it, and then click the events tab, and it'll insert it where it needs to. So now that I've clicked on the button, you see that my properties have changed in my workspace. Please let me know if I'm going too fast, or you can just pause the video. So this is the click me button. I go to the events tab. I can immediately say insert and show code here. It sends me to code mode with this one already labeled for me. So it says on button 1 when I click it. The event is defined, but it's not called in your program. Alright, insert on event block ID and click fill name. Haven't yet seen the console log. Run the program. And it runs button 1 clicked. So it's going to give me a notification in my debug every time I click this button. You can finish and move on. Cool. Alright, exploring console log. So this is how we check and see if things are running the way that they're supposed to. We can create elements here so that when we do them, they would actually say them in the console log below in this section. So we're going to set up a statement that'll read something to the console log so that we can understand that it's actually doing what we want it to do. It says drag out a console log statement into the workspace and add it below the 2 statements there. Follow the first 2, update the code that it says your name. Output should look something like this. So we want to mirror this. So we're going to drag it into the console log. My name is, and again we want to keep these quotes here, Mr. Clark. With no E or a G. I don't know anyone. Put that capital M on Mr. Yeah, there we go. So now as you can read down here, very small. Actually, it shows up pretty big on the video. It says, hello there. My name is Mr. Clark. Alright, so that moves on to that one. Sorry, this video has now been, my pups are in the background having a good old time. I think we might have some company. I don't want to go. Yeah, that'll stop. Let me see. Does that? I don't know. Give me a like or comment for Sadie and the rest of the pups. They want to help teach too. Alright, so printing the console, so you can get it to print to the screen. System out.line print line is what we learned in Java and computer science. I started programming in C++, which is more so this kind of thing, print, or system.out.print line. Well, that's Java. Where's the one I learned? I learned C out print, or C out and then I print out the words, which is more C++, but they changed it from print F. Let's see. So we're gonna skip this and go straight to the other thing. More debugging. So is it doing exactly what we want it to do? Study the code. When I click button 1, it displays message 2. When I click button 3, it displays. When I click button 2, it says message 4. So let's see. Without those, and then I click the other 2 for them to come up. After you made some kind of predictions, hit run, and it runs the same way I thought. So this one isn't one for us to actually do, it's just one for us to see. So it's going to print the first 3 without us, 1, 3, and 5, and not until I click 2 and 4 are they going to show up in my error log down here. No, I got to go back and hit submit. Don't do it. Run. Finish. Hit finish. We want all green dots across the top. I can finish in the next 20 minutes. Try not to make these videos longer than an hour. And again, y'all can skip and freely move at will. Let's see. So remember we talked about the different ways the on event handler can be read and shown and things like that. So on click, it's going to do button 1. But right now I'm in mouse down mode, meaning I've pressed it, I haven't released it. So watch this. Mouse up and click will show up once I release it, because mouse up is when the click is released, and click is the full action of holding it and releasing. So that's how that works. There is no situation where I can get it to just do mouse up, because I would need to do mouse down before it can do mouse up. I can make it so it doesn't show the message when I mouse down, but that's for a different time. And I'm like abbreviating some of the directions because it just makes more sense. Now, this is one that I really want to draw attention to. We have a green button, a purple button, and the background screen. So we're trying to see how they engage with each other. So I'm going to create console logs for each of the 3 scenarios and see what happens. Alright. So I'm going to call this one green, meaning I clicked somewhere in the green. I'm going to call this one purple. I don't know why I said it like that. Purple. And then I'm going to call this one screen. So we're going to see which one takes precedent over the others as we show it. So run the code. Let's see if it checks out. Now, let's notice this here. Purple and screen came up together when I clicked purple and screen. I mean, when I clicked this, because if you think about it, screen is just here. I can click screen all day. In terms of buttons, purple is here, so it'd be purple on screen. So if I click the green, I would click green, and green and screen will come up. This makes sense because there's only a certain amount of layers you can actually have the processors will click go through. By doing this, you get not as much interference between how many items are considered active or not. But here's the kicker. Really quickly, if you want to pause the video, you can. But what do you think would happen if I click the button in the middle that has purple and green overlapping each other? Alright, so let me see what you get. I'm going to click this. I get purple and screen. So now, even though green is technically in this realm of that darker overlap, it is now not invisible, but it actually helps us isolate certain parts of this to where I can make something active or inactive. This comes into play a little later when you don't want it to necessarily click, when you want it to actually tell it to click somewhere, but not in other spots. So it's just something to note. Especially when we start building our game in a second. So do know if you have two interactive spots over each other, it's only going to take precedent of the one on top, and it's still going to activate the screen. So the screen's going to stay active no matter what. So we do things to we never want to call action to the screen, because no matter where we click, it's going to do that action, and we don't want that. Kind of going ahead of myself here. Finish. Continue. Alright, so they tell us how to start creating the banana game, but I make it much simpler myself, so I'm going to do it this way. Continue. Alright, so here we're talking about the drag out the screen to the design box. So right now we only have one screen, the hello screen. So we're going to make a new screen involved. Actually, this video might be a little longer. I've realized now that we're fully setting up the screen and I took a little bit too much time in the beginning. So if I'm in design mode, I'm going to drag another screen onto the thing. And now this is another screen that we can use. I'm gonna go ahead and call it the game screen because I kind of know where we're going with this. We have a hello screen, you know, welcome to the game, like you would with Candy Crush and things like that. So lowercase g, capital S, game screen, camel case. You see how things just keep getting repeated again and again. Again, we're all about consistency here and feedback. So let me know in the comment section what you like, what you don't like, what things can I fix and make better. I know I have some reason I have the sniffles or something, and like it's throwing me off. I'm trying not to touch my face. Shouldn't be touching your face. We're gonna be all right. So drag out a screen and set the background color. It doesn't have to be orange like in the example, but I'm gonna make it orange because I like background colors orange. I'm gonna make it a darker orange though. Or wait, that's more about what they wanted. Alright. Yes, there we go. That's more my orange. That's that Mr. Clark orange. Simple button is fine. You can embellish the button if you want. You can add so I add text to say goodbye. So text, I'm gonna add you. We're gonna say goodbye. Consistency says are you a button? Did they make you a button? They probably did make you a button. Alright, so I kind of got ahead of myself, or sidetracked. So let's change the text. Hello and goodbye. And then I want to make the text size a little bit bigger. Hello and goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Oh, they have an exclamation point. I'm gonna do mine with an exclamation point. Again, consistency. Hello, goodbye. Where did they get the smiley face from? I want to cheat and get my own smiley face. Where did they find the image? Can I copy it and change it and make it my own? Alright, game screen. I'm gonna make it a button. I'm cheating. I'm so cheating right now. Should that be a button? That probably shouldn't be a button. I'm probably gonna take it off. Image. Okay, gotcha. Alright, background color. We don't want you to be there. We want you kind of clearish. Alright, and then I don't want you to say anything either. I just want you to be a big old smiley face. There we go. Haha. I kind of just ran through that. So I copied their image of their smiley face and I changed it to fit what I wanted it to do. And I feel good about it. So hello and goodbye. When you say goodbye, say hello. What's that? Emoji heap? I don't know. Wait, that's somebody. I'm gonna have to look that up later. Alright. All you see is default hello screen. You won't have any way to see the orange screen. Have it's running. So run, finish. Now we're gonna put the code in so that we can go between screens. Add an event, and then we use set screen to make on event handler. Okay. Let me click and drag. What are you doing? Or not? Okay, cool. So on event, when I click, what are you? Your smiley face? When I click on smiley face, I want to set my screen to the other screen that we made. And what do we call it? It was game screen, right? Cool. Make it switch to the other screen when the smiley face is clicked. So if I run, based on this, when I click, I'm sorry, I sat there and pointed at my screen over here. I'm going to do it with my icon. When I click the smiley face, it's going to set my screen to the game screen. Alright. So this didn't actually have to be a button, but I made it a button. So naturally, the next thing they're going to do is repeat these steps for the go back button. So I'm going to make it so that the smiley face for the second ID goes backwards. So if I go to game screen, the ID is button 1, and Mr. Clark is not following his consistency from the last video. We want to make these have unique buttons, or we can call it the GB Smiley, because it's a smiley on the goodbye page. So GB Smiley, and then we save that. I'm actually gonna make you a little bit bigger, cause you might as well be. Can I make? Would that be a thing? Nope, that wouldn't change the text size at all, cause there's no text to align. All right, let's see. All right. All right. Yeah, we'll go with that. So now this is GB Smiley. I'm gonna go to, I gave it a unique name. If I drag another on event, when I click GB Smiley, it should send me back to the hello screen. So set screen to hello, and things will work out that way. I've had 52 minutes. I'm making good time. We're good. I keep saying I'm making good time. We are making good time. Hello screen. And if I run it, it'll go like this. I click hello, I click goodbye. I click hello, I click goodbye. Whee! So now we have this fully functional app that allows me to go between screens. You think we would be done there, but wait, there's more. Alright, so they're gonna make the full game about our banana chaser. Now, we had this code from before. Where's my move button? Oh, okay. Alright. So it says design mode, add a new screen to the app, make the new screen the default screen. Add a new one that says start, and then text welcoming users again, given the button and the screen meaning. Add an event handler, add code to the event handler function. Let me see. Ooh, let's see. Alright, so we would essentially grab, I mean, I guess I could finish this off real quick. I'll go a little faster. So we're gonna go to design mode. We're gonna create the welcoming screen. Alright, so it won't let me import it. I'll make a new one. Screen 2, we can call this welcome screen. With welcome screen, we want to add, I didn't even look at these themes. Citrus. How is that citrus? Oh, that's orange. It's fine. Do I have the smiley face again? Cool. Oh wait, you shouldn't be that. Not on the screen. Alright, I'm gonna drag a button on here. Remember, this should be our start button. So start BTN. It should say start, right? Start BTN should be the ID. So now it's gonna have a start button that does things. I'm gonna throw it in the code. Remember, I do on event to send that code straight to where I want it. So when I click start button, it'll send, what do we call that screen? Screen 1, I guess. Oh, we should have changed it when we had the chance. Let's go ahead and do that. Go back to design mode, go to screen 1, change it to screen. Call it game screen again. Sorry, I am like mowing through it because I don't want us to be too long with this video. Game screen is what we call this. And then if we go to code mode, I go to game screen. Oh, this is the part that I should actually mention. So event is defined. Why are you even there? There we go. So here's the other thing I meant to mention about this. If I go back to design mode and go to welcome screen, again, I want to make sure that this is the default screen that everything starts on. So if I go to properties, I go to where it's set as default, make default right here. So this is gonna let it make this my default screen, and that's where everything's gonna start. I'm gonna go drag an image on here. And I want to put that smiley face back in. I like my smiley face. We're going with it. All right. I can change my button around. I don't like that color. All right. Cool. We're all Halloweeny. Ooh, Halloweeny. Text color. What's text color? Icon color. Text color. Here we go. Cool. We're Halloweenies. Background color is fine. Why does it have a border color? Oh, that border color should not be white. Let's just make it transparent. Right, there we go. No border color. Cool. We are making our way, and we're about to hit the hour mark, so I'm gonna go a little faster. Or why not? I might as well just make it slow. So I run what I have now. My start button she'll send me to the game screen. And since I know that it works, I can take out my console log message because I don't need it anymore. Alright, so I run, I go to the game screen. I still have my move button doing move things. So instead, here's where you would actually make this a thing so that, do they tell us to do the end screen here? Set screen and plays the game. So yeah, so that's good. We're gonna continue. And the last thing is to tell me whether or not we win or lose. Add a full screen image to act as a background to game. So this will tell me whether or not things will win or lose. So we want to make sure these are our main objectives, and the video is going to end after this. When the target is clicked, it jumps to a new location and optionally prints a message to the console. When the background image is clicked, it should display a message to the console. Alright. So we have start button and move button. I'm going to put that at the top. Whoa. Undo. Alright. I want to put you up here. I didn't want to get rid of you. That was silly. Alright, so start button takes me there to the game screen. Move button is going to work. So if I go to the game screen, and what they want us to do is create a buffer between us and the label. Now remember we had that issue with Can't Catch Me and making sure that it stayed behind. So we are going to make a dummy image in the background. I'm going to do an image, and our goal is to stretch it across the entire screen. So not only are we stretching it across the entire screen, we're going to move it to the back. I didn't even think about this. I don't have any cool images to use here. Let me see. Let me drag this off to the side and see if I can find a cool little image to use. Why not? Alright, so now we have a little image. Anybody remember the evil Kermit meme? Alright, so here, we still want to put that there. And then when I run it, I go start, move, 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 move. So now I want to make it sure that when it clicks the background, it'll tell me that it clicked the background. So if I go back to design mode, and I go back to the game screen. Wait, I can go back to, actually no, I can go to design mode, you're right. Or I'm right. Image 2 is the name, I'm gonna call it background. Again, sorry, I know I'm speeding-ish, maybe, I don't know. But you can pause the video at any point. Background, if we go background, call it background, take the events, insert and show code. So now, when I click background, it's gonna say background clicked. So if I run now, start. So right now I haven't clicked the background. I've been clicking the screen and the button. But if I don't click if I click the background, it's gonna tell me when I'm not doing correctly. This is how you determine whether or not your game wins or loses in a minute. And so that's where that setup comes from. And from there, they would create their game, so on and so forth. Add a game over screen and finalize it. So the last thing we need to do is new screen. Call it the lose screen. Not loser screen, just the lose screen. If I could spell, that'd be great. Lose screen, we call it the lose screen. We make it orange again with the theme. No, let's invert it. Where's black? I will make it my own. Alright, so we want text to throw in there. Label. What is it? Try again next time. Because we want to be polite when people play our games. Next time. Okay. Try again next time. Change the text color. since we're inverting this, we're gonna make it orange. Everything. All right. So no. You were fine the way you were. Stop right there. Cool. I'm gonna add a button, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Now see, this button is inverted. I changed the color of the text. Where's the text color for this button? All right. We call it the reset button. Reset BTN. So call it run it back. Text color. Make you black so that everything matches. Whoa. Alright, cool. Alright, so make this bigger. Alright. Text size. Give me. Alright, try again next time. Then we do. I want my image again. Where's my image? Image. Give me my smiley face again. Y'all already know where we're going with this. I got all kinds of different shades of orange, but that's okay. It'll all make sense in the end. Now I want to change the button color. It's a little faded orange. I actually don't like that color orange. I'm very weird about my shades of orange. Close enough. Cool. So, if I go back to my run it back button, I give it the code that I want. So that when I click run it back, my reset button, I want it to set my screen back to the start screen, which is the one we had in the beginning, the welcome screen. Now I need to put the go between and the last thing that ties everything together. If you click the background, which is technically you losing, it should send you to the lose screen. Now everything should agree with each other, and we're gonna run and see. Run. So I'm gonna start. I click my button. Everything's great. I'm the best at this game. It's the best thing that's ever happened. I click here. I click the background so I lose, and run it back to send me back to the beginning. Start over again. And finish. So this is the part where I challenge my kids to go make their own game. Hopefully, if they're following along with this video, it'll make sense. And they know that they can reach me if they have questions and other things like that. But that covers both of the lessons for today. Thank you for joining me, and y'all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.